You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Now on DC News Now at 9, a nightmare for a DC woman takes a darker turn. Her car stolen and then torched on the side of the road. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Susan Tran in for Thasmin Mahfouz. This is a story you're only going to see on DC News Now. The woman says her car was not only stolen, but she says it was used in a violent crime.
And tonight she shares her frustration with our Leonard N. Fleming.
More than a week ago, Stephanie Macero's 10-year-old Ford Escape was stolen right here from this parking space. And even with an insurance tracker and an AirTag, DC police were slow to find that vehicle until it was involved in a shooting and then burned to the ground more than a week later, not too far from here.
And I came out and there was a car parked in where I knew I had parked my car the night before. So I was like, oh my gosh.
That's when Stephanie Macero of DC began to realize the worst.
So I was like, oh my gosh, where is my car? And I just had this gut feeling. I knew it was gone.
On January 15th, thieves crisscrossed the city in her black SUV, both an insurance tracker and AirTag showing where the car was stopped. She turned that information over to DC police.
But after that initial instance of the officer being in my house taking my statement, I really never heard from the police unless I was the one reaching out.
There have already been 319 car thefts this year in the district, down 19% from last year, according to police data. Macero says the insurance tag was removed from her car, but the AirTag still shows up in Southwest DC in her child's baby stroller.
It just makes me feel frustrated.
Police told her the vehicle was involved in a shooting not far from her Northwest home. Then it was found January 20th, burned in an alley. A homeowner's fence melted from the heat.
Finding out later that my car was used in a violent crime, and maybe if it had been found sooner, that would not have been the case.
Macero says that she knows that crime happens in big cities like DC. She lived here for a long time, but she never expected her own vehicle to be involved in a crime that would end up harming others. Reporting from Northwest DC, Leonard N. Fleming, DC News Now. Back to you.
Oh, wow, just incredible details there. Now, DC police say they're investigating, but they had no comment about the stolen car or the timeline of when it was used in that shooting.
All right, let's get a first check on the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb. A lot of changes on the horizon.
Right. So last week we were all bundled up, and this week we need umbrellas, galoshes, and to strip down a few layers because it's warmer.
Yeah, I was going to suggest a t-shirt, no big winter coat unnecessary the next couple of days. We're headed for the 60s, and guess what? I have updated this forecast. Now 70-degree weather is about to touch down across the DMV. How exciting, right? It comes with the cost of some rain, and the rain is pretty minimal across the region. This storm system is allowing for most of this moisture from Memphis into areas of southern Ohio, northern New England, dealing with that wintry mix. We're kind of in the center of the storm system, and so it's increasing clouds. And our friends out in Hagerstown, hey, good evening. You're dealing with a few raindrops, Kaiser and Cumberland as well, but really it's nothing heavy duty. You're dry for Prince George's County into Montgomery County. Due to warmer temperatures making its way into the region, we're going to have a snow melt issue, and so this is going to cause minor flooding across our higher terrain where the snowpack is pretty heavy. Look at temps right now at the 9 o'clock hour. Calvert County, look at you, 50 degrees, 52 out towards Sneal and Spotsylvania. It is a little bit cooler, upper 30s for Western Maryland. Good start to your Thursday. We're going to be at about 40 degrees by that 9 o'clock hour. Early morning commute, you're nice and dry. Really, the bulk of this rain does not enter our area where it's moderate to torrential until late evening on Thursday. Really, the big talker, though, is this huge warm up across the DMV of your extended forecast coming up.
All right, Janessa, thanks. We'll see you then. A top story we're following tonight in Montgomery County, Maryland. A school principal with more than a dozen sexual harassment and bullying allegations is off the job tonight. As of today, MCPS saying Joel Beidelman is no longer employed with the school district. No further details have been given. Now, this news comes as the county releases a scathing report shedding light on what some say is a lack of transparency in the school system.
The Inspector General says that the school system mishandled complaints of employee misconduct for years. DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg joins us with more on this report.
The report says the findings should not be surprising to some in MCPS senior management because similar observations were made on at least 4 different occasions dating back to 2019, but it appears no action was ever taken. The Montgomery County Inspector General is shedding light on years of MCPS's mishandling of misconduct complaints.
Victims were re-victimized by the institution that refused to take them seriously.
On the heels of its first report into substantiated misconduct allegations against now former middle school principal Dr. Joel Beitelman, the Inspector General found MCPS doesn't have comprehensive protocols for receiving or evaluating complaints. With multiple ways to submit complaints, the IG says there was basically no standards for what was investigated and how things were documented. Janice Sartucci with the Parents Coalition of Montgomery County is fed up with what she calls a lack of transparency.
It's absolutely unconscionable, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop now. The people of Montgomery County needs to stand up for the victims.
Superintendent Dr. Monifa McKnight responded to the report saying it's possible recommendations weren't communicated to the current administration during the transition of former executive staff, but she's committed to fixing that.
That's the same thing we hear repeatedly over and over and over. And this current report now from the Inspector General shows that nothing has changed.
School Board President Carla Silvestri says they're going to work closely with the IG.
She has said in her report that she's going to stay with this issue to make sure that it gets implemented properly. And we, as the Board of Education, are committed to working with her.
Silvestri says open and timely communication between the school administration and the school board is critical.
We're going to look at our HR policies comprehensively, create new policies, and make sure that the administration is creating regulations so that no matter who's on the Board of Education, no matter whose staff is on the leadership team, they have the guidance that they need.
McKnight says a comprehensive action plan was developed after last summer's independent law firm report into the Beitelman investigation. She says there are changes coming, including a new reporting system that should be implemented by the end of the month. In Rockville, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Here's the thing, that Inspector General report, it came out hours before school officials announced that Principal Joel Beitelman was no longer an employee.
But that controversy really started last summer when accusations against Beitelman first came to light.
We have our reporter Marielle Carbone live with us in the studio tonight. And Marielle, there are just so many twists here. So how did we actually get to this point?
Yeah, Susan, this saga, it has really stretched on for months and months, and we've been following it all. That first big date we're looking at, June 27th, that is when the board actually voted to name Joe Beitelman principal of Paint Branch High School. Now, it all came crashing down for him months later. That is when the Washington Post published its bombshell article on August 11th. Then 5 more months passed, and Beitelman, he is now out of a job here. Meanwhile, the school district still remains under fire. Months of controversy, dozens of accusations of bullying and sexual harassment, and at least 2 jobs jeopardized.
All in favor, raise your hand.
The Montgomery County Board of Education voted to name Joel Beitelman principal of Paint Branch High School in June of 2023. Weeks later, he'd be put on administrative leave. The Washington Post releasing an article on August 11th saying Beitelman was promoted despite numerous complaints made by staff while he was the principal of Farquhar Middle School. We now know the school district received at least 17 complaints prior to Beitelman's promotion, spanning from bullying to sexual harassment and unfair hiring practices. 3 separate investigations went on to untangle a web of misconduct and mishandling. In September, an independent investigation found Beitelman was promoted despite being under investigation by the district. Then, on December 1st, the Office of the Inspector General for Montgomery County released one of 2 reports, finding claims that Beitelman bullied and sexually harassed staff were true. Several people interviewed reported that the principal made sexual comments about their bodies. Today, the OIG dropping that second investigation as the superintendent, Monifa McKnight, is asked to step down and Beitelman is out of a job. And today, Montgomery County Council members Evan Glass and Dawn Leducki thanking the Inspector General's office for its work. They say the district's culture of noncompliance is unacceptable and that it deprives students, educators, and staff of learning and working environments that they deserve. In studio, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
All right, thank you so much for that breakdown, Mariel. Very helpful. All right, new at 9, a second person now in custody for the deadly shooting of a 10-year-old girl. Police say they arrested Dallas McKinney today. The 19-year-old and another teen already in custody are accused of killing Ariana Davis last May. Now, police say the little girl was in a car coming home from a Mother's Day celebration and was just caught in the crossfire. Both men are facing first-degree murder charges. Developing now in D.C., a crisis intervention police officer shoots and kills a man who was having a mental health issue.
This shooting happened this morning on New York Avenue and North Capitol Street. The chain of events went on for hours this morning. Police say crisis intervention officers talked with the man for about 2 hours. He then agreed to get into an ambulance to be taken to a hospital. Now, during that ride, the man attacked a paramedic and then jumped out of the ambulance. When police tried to pepper spray him, they say he ran through traffic and was found hiding underneath a truck. He then came at officers with a metal object in his hand.
We asked him very loudly and very clearly to put the object down, but at that point he decided to attempt to engage our officers. At that time, one of our officers discharged his firearm.
And that officer did shoot and kill that man. Now, police telling us this investigation is far from over, but there's a bigger concern here for the community and activists like Jay Brown, who say these incidents hurt just how people's ability to trust police.
Who do you call? If you call in the police and these are the ones that's going to take your life after talking to you for 2 hours, there was some failures here.
Now, we did reach out to the D.C. Department of Behavioral Health for clarity. The agency saying the officer who shot that man and killed him was trained as a crisis intervention officer, as nearly all D.C. police officers are. The agency says the officer used the training in the hours leading up to today's shooting.
Northern Virginia is one step closer to getting a casino. Lawmakers are moving forward with a proposal to let Fairfax County voters decide if a casino resort can be built in Tyson's Corner. Max Marcilla joining us live from that proposed site. It is along Route 7. And Max, walk us through this whole process. Are there many more hurdles here?
Susan, many more is an understatement. It has to go through another Senate committee, then the full Senate, the full House, to the governor's desk. And then only then will it come to the voters of Fairfax County. Again, a lot of steps have to be done, but the prospect of a casino in this region for some people really exciting, and for others they just don't see the value of it. Here in Tyson's, tons of cars drive past this street corner. Look out your window and you'll see this sign, Tyson's, America's next great city. Down the block, this former luxury car dealership, the reported pick for where Senator Dave Marsden wants a casino in America's next great city.
I could go on and on
I believe
in terms of the benefits to this.
He says this area is perfect for not only a casino, but a hotel, conference center, even a concert venue. Lowe, who works in the area, agrees.
I love it. Everything's convenient. It's metro accessible. I think a casino is great. It'll bring a lot of revenue, and it's always good for a change. Why not?
But that belief is not unanimous.
Our Fortune 500 companies might not find that a casino is exactly who they want as a neighbor.
As the bill makes its way through Richmond, which it did with a 10-4 vote in the Senate committee on Wednesday, there are some people who say it's not a jackpot.
Casino is good for business, but it will make this space more crowded. It's already crowded.
Fairfax County supervisors will also have to be ready to roll the dice, but Chair Jeff McKay told DC News Now he has concerns about the bill, which he did not request.
It doesn't look like a good financial deal for the county, and I am concerned that our local land use rights and responsibilities as local government are respected.
We mentioned the last step that would have to be taken before it comes here to the county level is the signature from the governor. We reached out to Governor Youngkin tonight about whether he would support or oppose a casino here. He would not comment on that, did say he would consider any piece of legislation that makes its way to his desk. Reporting live in Tyson's, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
All right, many, many more steps there, Max. Thank you. Now, another new bill in the Virginia General Assembly could give cities the ability to regulate how much landlords can charge renters.
It would also require landlords to give advance warning for rent increases and create penalties if landlords do not comply. Individual cities would be able to decide to enforce this bill or not.